Hey friend, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here listening to another episode of the Vibrant Artist Podcast. Here we talk all about living a vibrant life as a creative entrepreneur, which is a fancy way of saying this podcast is for folks who want to live a happy, fulfilling, and creative life, to be present in every moment, and to thrive in both their work and personal relationships. If you're the kind of person who doesn't enjoy feeling like you're always scattered behind hustling or treading water, you're in the right space. Here we focus on the full circle as a creative entrepreneur, your art, business, kids, partner, friends, and self, because they're all connected and add to your happy, vibrant life. I'm Jessica, your host, a knitting pattern designer, alignment coach, mama, and your new biz bestie. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the, I don't know, what podcast? I was going to say the Pattern Design Circle podcast. I am recording this video before I have actually nailed down the new name for the podcast. So I guess when you see this come out, you'll know what the new name is. I have the new brand name, and I didn't even think about the fact that I have not finalized my podcast name before recording this. Anyway, as I kind of talked about in the last episode, we are prioritizing action here over perfection, because things wouldn't get done if they don't work, if they had to be perfect. So we do have a little co-host with us here today. If you hear some rattling going on, that's little Minnie. So this episode is a mini episode. We're talking all about some of the big changes happening here with the podcast, with my business in general. These are some changes that have been happening for the last while, probably at least a year, whether you've been noticing it or not. So I guess we'll start with some story time. Back when I started a Pattern Design Circle in 2021, really the reason I started it was to connect pattern designers who were really serious about running a business with their designs. And so we could talk really honestly, openly, and in a community-focused manner about business, about marketing, about the ups and downs, about all of the things around running a business as a knitting or crochet pattern designer. What I found when I created Pattern Design Circle was that there were a lot of people who didn't have as much maybe knowledge or basis, as much of a foundation on the branding and marketing side of things. So I kind of became my mission to build up the Pattern Design Circle content to provide the same kind of foundation for everybody. So we were kind of all on the same level on understanding different marketing strategies and all of those kinds of things. And then once I got that built up and I was, really wanting to talk more about kind of the sustainability of things, the authenticity of things, the whole life picture, the productivity, the habits, all these other things that I think are really, really important for having a business, a sustainable business over time that you really love, that you feel passionate about, that really just lights you up. I found that my audience just wasn't nearly as excited about those things as I was. And I had already been filling a poll now for a few years now. Let's see, this is 2025. So maybe 2022, 2023, I had actually told my massage therapist, I was like, I'm really interested in what is called high performance coaching. If you're familiar with like Brendan Burchard, he has the high performance habits, he has high performance coaching program. But really the idea of it is this whole life picture of performing well in every area so that you feel really excited about life. As I've been thinking about how I want my business to look what I want my business to look like and how I want to talk about it, the thing that I keep coming to is this idea of living vibrantly. So as creatives, we are living um not only like in our art, not only in our business, not only in our family relationships, not only in our friendships, not only in our self-care. We're doing all of it, and we're doing it in such a way that we just feel totally lit up and excited and happy and all of the things. So yeah, it's really about feeling balanced. I'm very hesitant to use that word because I know I've heard so many people like be like, balance is impossible, blah blah. I think balance is the definition that you create for what really feels good for you. I don't think balance is equal parts or anything like that. It's really finding, all right, what are the like kind of what is the uh, what proportion of your life are each of these components, and that is kind of the balance that you makes you really feel good in your life. So I'm just really kind of tired of hustle culture, everybody being wrapped up in working and feeling like they have to constantly be working to get to some level of success or some level of sustainability. I'm really, really tired of all the negativity. Just everywhere. uh, and I'm tired of us kind of being really distracted and not living presently in our lives. So social media, internet, I think that contributes a lot to it. Um, so yeah, really the mission of what I want to do with Full Circle Entrepreneurship, which is the new brand name, is to help creative entrepreneurs live vibrantly, both personally and professionally, so that it just feels fulfilling. It feels just really amazing. It feels like you're um, in control, but I'm also hesitant to use that wording. I'm still trying to figure out what the wording is to use there. Like it's like having agency of your life. It's being kind of in the driver's seat of your life. It's being proactive rather than reactive, all these kinds of things. Just feel like we see so much people talking about like they feel like they're constantly treading water. They feel like they can't ever get ahead. They feel like it's just like everything is so overwhelming and exhausting. And I totally feel that. And also, I know when I do certain things, when I have a certain mindset, that even if all of those things in life still exist, just the way that now I'm thinking about myself, the way that I'm prioritizing things, the way that I am maybe making adjustments in my life, make it feel so that I feel good, even when everything else is chaos around. So none of this is to dismiss any of negative things that are happening around us. None of it is to dismiss difficult mental health stuff. None of this is to dismiss the fact that there are really hard things that we come up against in life and business, personally, professionally, all of the things. But this is about, okay, we know that these things are here. We know that these things will continue to happen. What can we do to really feel good about our life and how we're contributing to society, how we're contributing to solving these problems? I'm especially lately have been feeling so passionately that when we are distracted, when we are feeling down and negative and depressed and upset, and we're just wanting to rant, and I've been feeling all those things too, don't worry. But when we're in that space, we are able to do so much less than if we were to, then when we really kind of take initiative, take control, realize, okay, what am I able to contribute? What can I actually do? how can I make a change and actually take the action, so that we're proactive or maybe even just active, rather than being reactive to everything happening. So that kind of just went on a whole tangent. I wasn't necessarily planning on going up, but that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm really passionate about. So you've seen over the last year some of the content here on the podcast shifting more towards creative entrepreneurs in general, more towards not just talking about business and marketing strategies, but talking about things like these different puzzle pieces of um, just living a vibrant life. So um, that's kind of my mission, my purpose. Yes, absolutely am still working with knit and crochet pattern designers. You know, I have the coaching specifically for designing. I have Pattern Design Circle, which is specifically for knit and crochet pattern designers. I'm still very passionate about helping knit and crochet pattern designers, creating spaces for them, and all of the things. I'm still passionate about business and marketing. It is all still part of this full circle life, entrepreneurial journey, all of the stuff. But it is a piece instead of the whole. So yeah, we will talk more about, um, I guess, kind of personal development kind of stuff, which that stuff always, it directly relates to our business stuff. It's things that we can implement personally, it's things that we can implement in the business, it's things that we can implement everywhere else as well. It's just not focusing specifically on business. So, and what to expect. I absolutely will still continue to talk about business and marketing. Um, I think I've already talked about this before on the podcast. I'm not sure how much I will talk about like the very fundamental, foundational pieces of business and marketing. Because I feel like those are things I've already talked about, and like there's so many resources around that. I know that that's not necessarily a reason from a marketing perspective, but just from my own kind of passion perspective. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of doing more of that kind of stuff maybe on the blog if I resurrect the blog, and then having the podcast really about diving into these maybe higher level kind of topics. I do know that you guys are interested in those really kind of specific business marketing kind of stuff based on the questions and the polls last year. So yeah, I definitely still want to help absolutely where I can, and at the same time, I think collectively help us rise to another level, mentally, but also even just physically in what we're able to do and how we're able to help the people around us, in our businesses, but also in a philanthropic kind of way as well. So podcast here, I was going to say that I need to cut this back to a every other week podcast, a bi-weekly podcast, because I'm still figuring out how to record with a little one. I'm still figuring out how to not have episodes that are quite as long. But I also just did content planning yesterday, and anytime I do that, I'm like, oh, but I want to talk about all these things. So, you may see the podcast slow down. You may not. We'll find out. Yeah, so I guess that's in general, that's what's happening. Full circle entrepreneurship includes the full circle of life as an entrepreneur. It includes everything. And that's really what the Aligned Entrepreneurs Hive is focused on. So that new community membership that I was telling you about few weeks ago. It's about, reflecting, prioritizing, building habits, becoming more efficient in the work that we do so that we have more time for more. It's not becoming more productive and building habits to be, a hustler. It's not to, I don't know. It's not necessarily for business reasons that we are becoming smarter and more effective with our time. It's so that we have space for everything, for family, for travel, for hobbies, for all of the things, rather than really kind of constantly grinding on all of the business stuff. So I guess I also didn't make it super clear the reason that I am kind of opening some of this up to not just knit and crochet pattern designers, but creative entrepreneurs in general is, first of all, I mean, it applies to all of us. Second of all, I have, mentored several other creative entrepreneurs that aren't in knit and crochet pattern design. And I love it. And because, like I said, I found in my audience of designers, and it seemed like people were quite as interested in this aspect of things. And so, like, opening it up to a larger audience feels like it allows me to dig in deeper into these things that I'm really passionate about. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's definitely a fun and exciting change, and something that I feel like I've definitely been moving towards for several years now. It's something that's definitely been in the back of my mind, and it's just kind of been moving forward more and more, and it finally feels like it's kind of the right time to step into that and to embrace it and talk about it. And so you will see, I think it's the next episode. Yep, you'll hear more about a free challenge that I'm hosting, all about embracing happiness right now, despite everything that's going on. And so I hope you'll join me for that. And I hope you stick around here on the podcast. If you have any questions at all, if you have, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you have any questions at all, let me know. You can send a message through the fan mail thing. You can send me an email. If you have any topics, you're like, ooh, I really want to hear about this, let me know. There's also that feedback thing that I shared, I think last week or last episode, on letting me know what questions you have just about all of this life stuff, productivity habits, all that kind of stuff in general. You can submit questions in there as well. So alrighty. I'm super excited. I hope you're super excited. Not gonna lie, I am a little bit nervous now that I've to the end of this, where I'm like, what if you don't care? What if you're not interested in this? And that is part of being a business owner, right? We have to find what is in alignment with us, and we have to be willing to let go of things that aren't. So I hope this isn't goodbye. I hope that if maybe this new kind of content doesn't resonate with you, that you'll still stick around in the creative thread. I still will be creating courses and everything for designers. So alrighty, I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Wishing you beautiful moments, and I'm excited for this journey ahead that we have together. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. And that's a wrap for this episode. If you found it valuable, please share the podcast with a fellow entrepreneur. And if you have a minute, leave a review. Both help the Vibrant Artist podcast reach more of the people who will benefit from it, so we can continue to build a vibrant, beautiful world together. Chat soon.